And welcome KCIW listeners at 100.7 FM, kciw.org, Brookings, Oregon, and syndicated listeners at KZZH 96.7 FM, Access, Humboldt, Eureka, California. So this is Joyously Free Radio with me, Joanie Lindenmeyer, the best-selling author of None Better, an amazing love story. And I'm so glad that you are tuning in today. I'm a 34-year resident of Harbor, Oregon, a retired Del Norte High School teacher, and an author who has published 3 books in 2 years and created an audiobook in my own voice of my memoir, None Better. I love life, and I love being the producer and host of this fabulous, inspiring show. And you are all in for a treat today with my good friend Todd. Oh, I probably let that out of the bag too early. But anyways, so we begin our morning salutation. I say, it's a brand new day. And you respond with, it's never been lived before. So let's see how we can do. It's a brand new day.
It's never been lived before.
Woohoo! Doesn't that sound like a DJ voice too? Yes, exactly. This is a brand new day. So this Radio Gadio show, as Will and Viv named it, is a show that talks about LGBTQ plus stories and tips, along with religion, church, faith, spirituality, and joy. Simply said, the purpose of the show is to share, radiate, and spread abundant joy and freedom. And we're going to talk about all those subjects today, everybody. Oh, that's also the title of my second book, Joyously Free. In this radio broadcast, as in my life, every single day, there will be no hate speech, no hate behaviors, and no bullying. It will be blasted with the 3 C's, courage, confidence, and collaboration. Together, on this radio show, let's seek understanding, think out of the box, and have an open mind. Our special guest is sitting just a few feet away from me today, but first, let's start with our prayer. Let's calm ourselves, open our hearts, and ask our Creator to shine light on our community and our world. I excitedly believe and hope in the power of the divine, and that Jesus, God, Spirit, whatever name you put on a higher being, is always with me and always with you. So be not afraid or troubled, saddened or depressed. Joy and peace are an internal expression of love and harmony that is already within us, and we only have to reach deep within and let it out. Love is abundant and everlasting. So let's center ourselves. Take a deep breath in with the good and out with doubt. Again, breathe in through your nose with hope and out from your mouth with fears. Last one, take a big deep breath in with joy and out with worry or despair. In the name of Mother Earth, God our Creator, Jesus our Redeemer, and the blowing winds of the Holy Spirit, we say, Hi! Hi, Jesus! Hi, God! Hi, Spirit! Hi, Holy One! Thank you for being with us on this beautiful day. Well, as I was in my prayer corner this morning, I opened up my book of funny church signs, signs that you've read on church billboards, so to speak. And this one caught my eye and tickled my fancy. It says, do not keep changing the sign. Sin is bad. Jesus is good. Details inside. And when I read that this morning, I just chuckled. How many times you go by a church and you see a sign, and I thought, this sort of just nailed it. Sin, bad. Jesus, good. Details inside. Oh my gosh. Well, I think details are not just inside of a church, but they're in our world, they're in our community, they're in our families. But to be spiritually grounded is a big help when you find a faith community that you can be celebrated in, accepted in, loved, cherished, forgiven. All those wonderful things that a faith community can give you, then you realize that you don't need any sign. It's an inside job. So those are my quick little reflections on that. And I'm still chuckling about that. Think about when you go by a church the next time, what sign are you reading? What's the message? Well, as in any prayer, we always have a message that comes from our Holy One. So today, I hope the message is something that has lifted you up, lifted your friends and your family up. May our Creator guide you and heal you. Thank you, Holy One, for hearing us today, for giving us humor, and for giving us the wisdom and the knowledge to think about doing your will. Thank you, God. So, KCIW and KZH listeners, let's have a happy day. I am excited as all get out. My friend Todd is here with us today, and he is just the primo of a person. I love his humor. I love his joy. I love his intellect. I love his faith. And guess what? The topic is faith. So let me introduce you, everybody, to Dr. Tod Roy, retired forensic psychologist and a good friend of mine. Todd, thank you for being here.
Well, it's good to be here today.
Yes. And why do you say that?
Well, it's different for me in particular. And it was just something we talked about, at another time, and something I've been thinking about. So I guess we're going to talk about that a little bit today.
We are. So before we jump right into that, Todd, just give me and the listeners a little background of where you're from, where you've lived, your family, just a quick little summary of your life. Can you do that for us, please?
A thumbnail sketch.
Yes.
Well, I was born in Massachusetts. I grew up in Ohio, and I emigrated to California in the summer of love and went to the Haight-Ashbury. I lasted a month before I went back over to Berkeley, where I stayed for quite a few years. I learned the carpenter trade there, which supported me throughout my education, right up to my doctorate and beyond in some respects. I've been married for 41 years to the same woman. We have 2 fantastic children. My daughter is a psychiatrist, and my son is a EMT firefighter for the Forest Service during the summers, and ski patroller in the winter, and an aspiring pilot currently working on his instrument flight training. His goal is to get up to 250 hours so he can qualify for commercial and start flying. Probably his goal is to be a bush pilot in Alaska.
Wow. You must feel so proud of your kids, too.
I am. I'm aware that people's children sometimes don't work out for them, as we've been seeing in the last couple weeks with Rob Reiner and now Tommy Lee Jones. And I feel very sorry for them that their children have gone through the difficulties that they have. I'm very thankful for that my kids have done so well.
Well, and you've put a lot of money, time, energy into being good parents, both you and Sally.
Oh, yeah. We had what I would call an alternative lifestyle in some respects. We decided early on that our kids were going to be home raised, and they were. And we've been able to do that, and we even provided that for our daughter's 2 children. We moved to Phoenix in 2016 to look after the firstborn of my daughter's children while she was in a residency. And when they pulled stakes and moved to Alaska, we came back here to the Pacific Northwest.
Yes, and I'm so glad you're back. Oh, my gosh. Maybe that's a selfish thing to say, but I love being around you and Sally. And Sally and I worked together at Del Norte High for years, and we share just so much in common. She's just a delight.
Well, we came back here because we had roots, and we had, the fellowship of French friends that we maintained even while we were in Arizona for that 7 years or so.
Right on. Well, we're glad you're back. We're glad and I'm not just speaking for myself, but like you said, many of your friends.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Good. Well, thank you. Thank you for giving that little summary of your life. Meanwhile, here we are talking in a radio station, and you said, Joanie, let's talk about faith.
Yes, I did. Last August, I was given a terminal diagnosis of lung cancer. And apart from, falling into a jailhouse conversion is the only way I can say it. I was raised in the Judeo-Christian manner, I guess, in terms of culture and religious orientation. I thought about being a priest at one point in time. I had an experience where I had a decision to make at one point early in my 20s where I was going to be part of the contemplative life or I was going to be in the secular world, and I chose the secular world. And I think I've done okay with that. But when you get struck with a diagnosis, it kind of, it makes you numb to begin with, and then it makes you, start questioning a lot of your percepts about life and living, and in what way do you take solace? And of course, I take solace in my wife and her caretaking of me, which has been extraordinary. And my friends have come to see me as well. My family comes to see me on a regular basis, coming from Alaska and coming from Washington. And it's given me the primary purpose and meaning to be here as long as I can for them. However, and from a spiritual side, I kind of don't qualify or identify myself as Christian per se, but the values of Christianity I do incorporate and have been the lifelong foundation of my pacifism throughout my life. However, what got me thinking about a crisis of faith is when I was a teenager, I was an acolyte in an Episcopalian church where I participated in the services, carrying the staff, aiding the priest in terms of the materials for communion, and which even led at one point to my wanting to be a priest at some point. But as I grew older and educated, I kind of left that behind. With this particular incident last August, I resurrected a cross that was given to me when I was the acolyte. It's a silver cross on a red string. And it struck me that I would find some solace in that, considering the fact that I had for years and years and years not been what I would call a Christian, so to speak, but that I had, taken on somewhat of the Eastern thoughts. And I kind of view Jesus very similar to Buddha in respect to who he is and what he was doing in terms of trying to bring love and understanding and acceptance to the people that he came in contact with. And at the expense of feeling like a hypocrite, I thought, well, how can I find solace in this and, still be a non-believer? And such a conundrum kind of has settled itself out as I'm accepting it for what it is. I'm not going to try and intellectualize it or rationalize it. I just know that it's hanging on the lamp by my bed, and I look at it, and I also look at the statue of Buddha in our backyard that I've carried for years and years and years and moved. It weighs about 300 pounds.
Oh, boy.
And so I take solace in that. And I meditate, and essentially just I'm living one day at a time, and this is one I haven't lived yet completely until tomorrow, but that's kind of where I'm at.
And that makes today extra special. You're here.
Thank
You're
you.
here. And I guess I love talking and listening to you about Jesus and Buddha. And people have asked me before, Todd, can you believe in two things at once? And my answer is always, it comes down to love, that love always wins. And so whether the being, if you want to say a being, a Buddha or a Jesus or whomever your primary source is, and maybe it's an internal person of just you just know in your heart. It's not a person.
Yeah,
but
it's a mindset in a way,
and it's a heart set.
And a heart set, especially in terms of compassion, inclusiveness, and a giving of oneself. I recently listened to a rabbi, which was really interesting because he talked about one doesn't find oneself, but one finds one's mission. And what mission is to bring that sense of compassion and inclusiveness and mindfulness to others in terms of your actions that you engage in throughout your life.
Yes.
And
yes.
That struck me as very, very learned in some respects. Mm-hmm. And he's a rabbi, but he's not. Mm-hmm. He is a transmitter of compassion, of love and acceptance of himself and others.
I love that. That's a great visual, a transmitter. You think of a radio station, you think of the wires in the sky, you think of the cell phone towers, a transmitter.
Yes.
That is really, really powerful. And how do we receive transmissions and how do we give transmissions?
Exactly.
Yep. And sometimes it's more clear than others.
Yeah, for sure.
And it sounds like since your diagnosis in August, that's become even more clear for you?
Well, the thing is, it's limiting. The diagnosis is limiting. I can't do anything that I used to do. Mm-hmm. I was, at the time, I was a CASA volunteer. Mm-hmm. I was studying French for 3 years because we had a plan to go to France on Christmas time just to see all the lights in Lyon in particular. Mm-hmm. I was 80 years old and I was helping my neighbor build a garage. Mm-hmm. And then I'm 81 and a half and I can't do anything anymore. Mm-hmm.
You think you can't do anything anymore, but maybe it's just being and not doing. Aren't we spiritual beings more importantly than spiritual doings?
Well, I can't say that there's... if you're a transmitter, you have to be actively transmitting and engaging. Mm-hmm. And I'm not doing that anymore. I can't.
But maybe, Todd, and I'm just throwing this out there, because there have been times in my life where I wanted to jump in and do something. I'm miles away from the situation. I literally can't do anything. But I can pray. Mm-hmm. I can give it to what I say to a God, and I know that prayers can be answered that way in miracles that they're unexplainable.
I understand that. I've been praying all my life, actually, when you think about it. And I'm always reaching out to family and friends in terms of their care and welfare. Mm-hmm.
But I also understand your loss.
Yeah,
that you're not able to do. You're surrendering.
Well, you have to. When I realized what it might be, I felt like I got the black spot. Mm. You know what the black spot is?
Why don't you explain it, though? Yeah.
Well, the black spot is the terrible thing that could happen to you if you were a pirate because you were being thrown off the boat. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. and that's how it struck me. I'm being thrown off the boat.
Unwillingly.
Well, I suppose unwillingly. Yeah, unwillingly. It's not anything I ever expected.
Right.
I was, my namesake, who I was named after, lived to be 101 years old.
Oh, who were you named after?
Andrew Tod Roy. He was a PhD, Princeton PhD missionary in China.
Oh.
And he was thrown out of the country by Mao Zedong. And then he was allowed to come back, and he was, I think, a dean at university in Hong Kong or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, he retired and came back to the United States. He lived to be 101.
Mm-hmm.
My father's brother lived to be 93.
Mm-hmm.
And I had managed to avoid all of the health issues in my family in regards to heart disease, high blood hypertension, etc. And so I thought I was really surprised. I was getting as old as I was, and people say, hey, you don't look 70 when I was 70, and you don't look 80. It's first thing the doctor said to me when I saw her in August for the first visit, who was able to define the diagnosis. I said, you don't look 80. And
So true.
so
You're good looking.
yeah. So yeah, it was a shock, and it's a slow acceptance. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much time I have,
Mm-hmm.
and
Is that worrisome? Is that scary?
well,
How would
I
you
know the statistics. When someone gets what I have, is 12 to 21 months.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be next July,
Mm-hmm.
basically, or May. Well, everything started in May,
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't able to we weren't, I needed to find another healthcare provider,
Mm-hmm.
which I did, and that's when we found out what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's just been worrisome, and sometimes it's a struggle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I have
How do you release those emotions, Todd?
I cry. It's very simple. I'll break down into tears,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what you do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll tell you, I've had my tears with you.
Mm-hmm.
I know Sally, your wife, has, and your kids have. I held
Oh.
Marie in my arms just a few days ago, and she's scared too.
Mm-hmm. We all are.
We all are. But at the same time, do you believe in a heaven, Todd? Do you believe in a place everlasting? Do you what do you think happens? Where's that faith?
This is going to sound strange to you, but I know what's going to happen.
Okay.
I had a very traumatic experience in my 20s that, led to a lot of soul searching.
Mm-hmm.
And and I saw my parents. I chose my parents. I went into my past life.
Okay. Okay.
And I didn't go too far. I went as far back in my past life as I saw myself choose my parents.
Oh, wow.
And so I kind of believe in reincarnation.
Awesome. Awesome.
And that whole experience, I was looked after.
Yeah.
I was watched over, so I wouldn't harm myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it kind of shifted to a change in how I went about living in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like that's what's going to happen to me. I'll move on into another life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
a beautiful one?
well, I hope so, because I came out of the war.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure I must have been a pilot or something in World War II, and that's how I died.
Mm-hmm.
And but I didn't experience the transmigration of the soul so much to the point where I chose my parents.
Gotcha.
literally the allegory of the cave. And it's always struck me how powerful that was and how it, changed me.
Right on. Right on. And I know we're going to be winding down here in just seconds, but I love how you know.
Yeah.
You've seen it, you've felt it, you've been there, and that's all you can say, huh?
Yeah, that's my experience.
That's your experience. And personally, I just want to tell you, Todd, I love you so much, and I feel that whenever it is your time to die and my time to die, it's a reincarnation, it's a rebirth, it's something bigger that I can never even explain. But all I know is that I love you dearly. I love your family. I'll be here for your family, with your family when it comes that time. And who knows how that's all going to happen.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
And I just want to say thank you for spilling your guts out today, for saying these things that we normally don't talk about.
No.
And it's so important for all of us as family to talk about it, community to talk about. So I'm going to end this just by saying thank you, beautiful listeners, for hanging in there with Todd and I today on our Southern Oregon and Northern California coast. We hope that you have found some of your own freedoms, maybe found some of your own joy, maybe found some of your own challenges that you're dealing with. But we just want to say, have a good day, smile big, wear bright colors, and my hat go off big times, high 10 and hugs to Tod Roy. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.